Hey guys, Stu from Pace Athletic here. We're going to talk my picks for UTA, which is 4 weeks away, so the excitement levels are starting to build quite a lot. First and foremost, footwear, which is a pretty obvious one, but if arguably the most important. I'm going to go through my pick for the 22, 50 and the 100. Starting with the 22. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for the Sense Ride, which has just been released in the 5th edition. For the 22, obviously, which course changes over the year, but a little less of the downhill on the body this year. So I kind of find this as like a fairly cushioned, nice, sort of a little bit more responsive ride with a good amount of grip. Obviously Blue Mountains being fairly firm terrain, so we don't need to go excessive, but just a nice bit of grip there. So Sense Ride 5 for the 22 is my pick. On to the 50, there's so many good options here, so it's a little tricky to kind of work out what I like, but the Speed Goat is my pick for the 50. We're gonna jacking up the cushioning just a little bit more aggressive outsole. They're using a Vibram grip here, so but like an all-round, it's kind of been tried and tested, this one, and the 5th version of it is still as good as, you know what I mean, it always has been. So nice and soft, good for the longer stuff. Obviously 50Ks is getting up there. So pick for the 50, Speed Goat 5. And then on to the 100, the big dance for the UTA, the Trabuco Max, which is fairly new to our range of trail shoes. We're going a little more volume, a little softer, and I wouldn't say like a real aggressive outsole, but the perfect amount of grip. So for the 100, what I'm thinking is a little bit more cushion, help get you to the finish line comfortably. So they're my 3 picks. Salomon, Sense Ride 5, Speedcross 5, and the Asics Trabuco Max. For the 22, Patagonia have the perfect vest. It's called the Slope Runner vest, and it's just got a small amount of storage in the back, 500ml flasks on the front. You can fit a little bladder in the back there, obviously, to hit your 2-litre water requirement. And just obviously for the 22, you don't need all the mandatory gear, so you can put a vest in there, you can put a thermal top in there, and any other little knickknacks you need for the run. So for the 22, Patagonia Slope Vest, great vest. As we move up in distance to the 50 and the 100, my pick is the Salomon 12 set. This guy's been around for a long time now. It's well and truly tried and tested, and is a fantastic vest. So again, 500ml flask in the front, 1.5 litre bladder in the back. So you're gonna have 2.5 litres of water, which is over and above what you need. But I think the way that this pack, or the thing that I like most about it, is it's got little pockets everywhere. So you can kind of have like a little, you kind of know where everything is, put your gels here, put your salts there. Obviously all your mandatory gear in the back, and the way they fit is really nice. So I kind of find that once they're on, they've got a bit of flex in them, so you can still move in the pack. They sit up nice and high, so you kind of just, the risk of anything rubbing and bouncing around when you've got one of these on minimizes a lot. So my pick for the 50 and the 100 is the 12 set. All right, moving on to nutrition. So you're gonna need nutrition for all of the distances, the 11, 22, 50 and the 100, but my pick and a new addition to our lineup of nutrition products is Fix Nutrition. So for the 22, 50 and the 100, I'll be using Fuel X Pro, which is it's their fuel source. It's got dextrose in it, it's got your salts and magnesiums in it. The addition in the Fuel X Pro is amino acids, so that'll kind of help with lactic acid buildup, things like that. So some really nice flavors available, super easy. Obviously they're doing different sizes in bags, etc. But for example, that little packet there, 2 serves, 200 calories, perfect amount in the 500ml flask on the front of your vests. So for me, that'll be like my backbone of the nutrition for UTA, like all distances. And then with that, I'm a cramper. So little bottles of Cramp Fix here. There's 5 servings in there. So having one of these in one of those pockets on your vest, and obviously it's a preventative thing, but also if you do find yourself cramping, have a little swig of this and it should keep the cramps at bay. So along with that, what I would also do is, Fix Nutrition as kind of your backbone. What I would be doing, or what I will do, is add in some gels or shot blocks or things like that. So in terms of gels, I really like Hummer Nutrition. Just grab one here. Hummer is like a natural gel using chia seeds. So I find they're a little easier on the stomach if you kind of get a little bit, I don't know if you're a bit picky with things like that. So Hummer Nutrition, just to mix it up a little bit. And the other guy, the other product I'll be carrying with me is shop blocks. So I kind of like these. Obviously I'm going to be having plenty of fuel along the course when you're adding all those things together, but these are just nice to mix it up a little bit. So in a pack here, there's 6 little blocks, kind of about the equivalent to 2 gels. And they're just an easy way. You can rip the top off, you can have 1 block, suck on it, chew it, whatever, but it's just a nice texture difference to keep it up, mixing it up just a little bit. And my kind of, I guess, 3rd or 4th tip when it comes to nutrition is eat a little bit along course. If you're doing the longer stuff, the 50 or the 100, at the aid stations, or if you pack your own stuff, you're hiking up a hill, you're kind of taking it a little easier at some of those points, try and eat something solid. That'll kind of make all the difference, I think, on race day. Moving on, next very important thing for UTA, very important product for UTA is the jacket. So it's one of the items that you need to tick your mandatory requirements for all the distances. The requirement changes a little bit, but basically it's seam sealed, arms, body, and through the hood as well. My pick for this one, which I've been using lately, is the Patagonia. It's a really nice, like still a lightweight material, packs into this little pocket in the hood here, so it rolls up nice and small in there. But the thing, I guess, well, the feature on this jacket, which I really like, is this zip. It's got a little zip on both sides. You fold it in like that, and you can just get access to your 2 flasks on your vest. So if you end up using this, which you likely do at the start, 50 and the 100 and the 22 start early, and it can be cold. So often you start with these on. With a jacket like this, you can fit it so that it will fit over your vest as well. So you can chuck it over the top of everything, zip it up, keeps you warm at the start line, and you've still got access to your bottle. So that, I think, is a really clever feature on these Patagonia. That's the reason I'm going to be using that on race day. Okay, finally, the little like nitpick things that you can kind of quickly overlook, but will really help on race day. So thermal top, which is a mandatory requirement. We sell Labent, I use Labent, I love Labent. We train, well, I train in this during winter. It's their base layer basically, so it's a merino bamboo blended long sleeve thermal top. They're amazingly comfortable. That's one product where you can go cheap, obviously, cheap and nasty, but you may not end up using it. If you go something like that, I use it all the time. So that's kind of one of my picks there. Onto accessories, which obviously aren't mandatory, but are super useful. Good pair of socks. I'll be using FKT, which is, they're a Cool Max Eco-Made, so like partly recycled material, but just a really nice sort of, not too thick, not too thin, really comfortable, manages moisture really well. So, I mean, we hope it doesn't rain, but if it does, you want something which can handle moisture. Anti-chafe, something pretty handy to have on you for the race, or even in a drop bag along the way. So there's like, we kind of know if you chafe or not, so hopefully you don't, but if you do, make sure you got a good anti-chafe. We make our own one, which I've sort of become quite fond of, and also using around where your pack is likely to rub. So sometimes around the neck, a little bit under the arm, having something like this, because if you start rubbing, it can be very uncomfortable very quickly. So having some of that either on you already or in a drop bag along the way, just in case you start rubbing or getting some chafe, that can be a bit of a make or break. And finally, being cold and up in the mountains can trick you into thinking you're not going to get sunburnt, but you do. If it's a clear day, the sun can be pretty harsh. So a good hat, like this lightweight cap I've got, pretty essential for race day. So I'll be sporting something like this. So they're my picks for UTA, and obviously they're very personal things in terms of footwear and stuff like that. Not everyone likes what I like. But conveniently for you guys, we've got stores placed around Sydney. There's 6 of them. So our staff can and will, are more than happy to help you guys find what's right for you. So footwear, get them soon. If you haven't already, we're 4 weeks out. There's still enough time. Packs, accessories, nutrition. Now's definitely the time. I hope most of you have got that stuff sorted already, but if you don't, there's 4 weeks. So let's get you sorted really quick, really soon, and we'll go from there. But otherwise, see you up at the Blue Mountains. Should be good.